Reeves Immigration Law Group now brings you Immigration Law on Your Side.
Thank you for joining us and welcome to another Immigration Law on Your Side right here at PHLV Radio. Kuya Yo, nanggagaling po sa Las Vegas. Makakasama natin mamaya-maya po lamang si Attorney Diza from Reeves Immigration Law Group sa San Francisco, California. Mga kaibigan, mainit na ating pag-uusapan na naman ngayong gabi kasi alam nyo, maraming mga non-citizens ang hindi nakaka-realize mga kaibigan the risks of pretending to be a U.S. citizen. Someone who falsely claims to be a U.S. citizen in order to obtain a benefit under federal or state law can easily become removable or deportable from the United States. Pauwiin po kayo. A person may be placed in removal proceedings if the false claim was made unintentionally. Kahit hindi intention nyo, pwede kayong mapauwi. Or to certain private parties administering a government benefit. Kaya kasama natin yung gabi mga kababayan si Attorney Diza from Reeves Immigration Law Group sa San Francisco to discuss how claiming to be a U.S. citizen, even when you are not, can lead to serious consequences. So Attorney, magandang gabi po sa iyo and welcome to Immigration Law on Your Side once again.
Magandang gabi Kuya Johan and siyempre sa viewers and listeners natin, magandang gabi, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. At mainit po ang ating pag-usapan ngayon dahil marami sa mga kababayan natin na dumating dito nung sila ay bata pa, no? And they thought that they were U.S. citizen and they thought that it was a harmless error for them to say that they are citizen. Mm-hmm. But there's a serious consequence of falsely claiming to be a U.S. citizen. In fact, Kuya Johan, under U.S. immigration and nationality law, I mean that's the worst situation if someone claims to be a U.S. citizen, and this could lead to, denial yung inyong application for benefits under immigration, yung sa green card application nyo. At kung kayo green card holder na po at you claim to be a U.S. citizen, when you apply for naturalization or citizenship, it can also lead to a denial. Hindi lang denial, revocation of your green card and possible arrest or detention and possible place you in removal proceedings. That, and as you mentioned, can lead someone else's removal or deportation. So it's really a very serious consequence, Kuya Johan. In fact, yung ibang violation, di ba, like crimes, for example, as we discussed in the past, or committing of a crime crime involving moral turpitude or a misrepresentation, yung pinag-usapan natin where someone else's claim to be someone else's or use someone else's passport under an assumed name to enter the United States, or let's say nag-file sila ng green card application and there was a misrepresentation there. On those situations, Kuya Johan, nakikure yan, di ba, ng tinatawag nating waiver, yung waiver for prior misrepresentation or waiver for criminal conviction. Kailangan lang mag-file ng applicant and prove that yung kanilang qualifying relative would suffer extreme, exceptional, unusual hardship. So yun yung big distinction, Kuya Johan, among the other grounds of inadmissibility, crimes, misrepresentation, or communicable disease, or prior removal order, di ba? May mga paraan yan eh. May mga other ways to do a waiver. In fact, pwede mag-file ng kanilang green card at mag-file ng waiver. In a claim to U.S. citizenship, right, this is really a very serious offense. And of course, U.S. government takes it very, very seriously. And although, pag-usapan natin siguro at the end of our discussion kung paano natin to madidepensahan, but I'm telling the viewers and listeners that falsely claiming to be a U.S. citizen has a very, very serious consequences.
Nangyayari pala ito. Attorney, ano po ba mga examples nito wherein one will claim as a U.S. citizen na hindi pa naman pala?
Well, there are many situations yan, Kuya Johan. And unang-una dyan is yung registering to vote, right? In a local, state, or federal election. So it's not only the registration, but also it is the voting itself. Right, because those rights and privileges, right to vote, are only exclusively for U.S. citizen. So in any other countries for that matter, di ba, yung national or citizen lang pwedeng bumoto. So yan isang paraan yan para po sila ma-charge ng false claim. Now, as we discussed, Kuya Johan, may mga situations where yung mga student, di ba? I have several consulting clients and clients where, when they were turning 18, right? Either nasa DACA sila or nasa work authorization lang sila, nakapending pa yung kanilang green card, di ba? Or wala pa actually papel or wala pang benefit. So usually ang mga nagpapa-sign up to vote, right? They're very aggressive, Kuya Johan. And I don't know if they really ask yung are you a citizen? I don't think so. Para silang may quota na kailangan makapag-sign up sila ng mag-register to vote, di ba? This number of persons. So ang ginagawa lang ng mga nagkukumbinsing bumoto ay bibigay sa yung application form, right? At pipirmahan mo yan or fill upan mo with your name, address. I'm not sure if they asked about the nationality, but there were situations where siyempre lalo na mga estudyante or ibang tao na dumadaan lang sa either sa City Hall or malapit sa school. So within the school premises, malapit ng eleksyon, di ba? May mga taong nagkukumbising boboto tayo at mag-register tayo. And in fact, if these people think na hindi pa sila bumoboto or ka-18 lang nila and they think na 18 na ako at it's time for me to exercise my right to vote, right? So they just fill out the form. So pag finilapan yung form na yon, siyempre that's a registration to vote, right? And as we mentioned, the right to vote is only exclusively for US citizen. Now in that situation, sa mga client na dumaan sa amin ay nung nakita nila na pinapadala na sila ng parang absentee voting ba na o sino iboboto mo for president or for the governors, di ba? Nagbibigay lang sila ng forms. Then doon na-alarma na bakit ako, na-alarma yung magulang. Dahil sabi niya, bakit ka boboto? Hindi pa tayo US citizen. And of course, they consulted an attorney to discuss kung paano po yan re-resolvehan. And siguro, as bigbangitin na rin natin, in that situation, Kuya Johan, kung let's say, kare-register to vote mo lang at pinapadalhan ka na ng mga paperworks to complete or to vote, complete the registration and to vote. Of course, if you timely retract, diba, ibig sabihin, bawiin mo dahil na-realize mo na hindi pala, nagkamali ako dahil, as we mentioned, you just turned 18 or nagmamadali ka, katatapos ng final exam mo and you just went out and people are converging and convincing you to vote and you just sign your name and your, write your name and your address and sign it without really looking at the citizenship or nationality portion, right? So, sinubmit mo yon. So, in that situation, Kuya Johan, when you timely retract, sasabihin mo dun sa registrar na I'm not a US citizen, I would like to take off my name from the list, then yes, probably you can be excused from this false claim to US citizen. And those situations, maraming nangyayari. Unfortunately, marami rin, Kuya Johan, na tinuloy-tuloy nila. Like, citizen na, mayroon pala akong karapatang bumoto. Diba? So, tinuloy nilang bumoto. And in that situation, syempre madaling tignan ang records. Diba? Madaling tignan ng USCIS ang records. If you voted, then that would be a ground for the denial of your application.
Nakikita natin yan, attorney, yung mga nagpaparegister na yan sa mga library and then sometimes sa DMV. Makikita natin yan, i-register kayong bumoto. So mga kaibigan, tingnan ng maigi para hindi kayo makapasok sa sitwasyon na ito. Habang nag-uusap tayo, attorney, at pinalabas natin itong topic na ito, isa sa mga itinanong dito, yung jury duty. Sometimes nakaka-receive sila ng mga notice to appear as a jury. Kung hindi pa naman sila citizen, hindi pa sila pwedeng mag-sign up as a jury?
Yes, that's one of the situations where, aside from the voter registration and voting, right, appearing in a jury is also falsely claiming to be a citizen because this right, or privilege to be on the jury or one of the jurors, Kuya Johan, is only reserved to you as citizen. So yes, that's correct. Maraming mga kliyente at mga prospective clients, Kuya Johan, nagtatanong, attorney, bumili ako ng bahay, green card holder halimbawa, bumili ako ng bahay or kumuha ako ng driver's license, siguro yung sa City Hall, di ba, nagkaroon sila ng list of names at pinadalhan po kayo ng jury duty. So, ang gagawin lang po ninyo is just be honest, right? Huwag po kayong susulpot dyan because lalong-lalo na kung ayaw nyong maabala sa trabaho, di ba? Pwede po nyong sabihin doon not a United States citizen. Di ba? Nandun naman yung country of citizenship, sabihin yung Filipino or Philippines. And then if you have a green card holder, you might provide your, or rather you can provide your alien number and a copy of your green card showing that you are a US citizen. Kung kayo po ay TNT or wala pang papel, di ba, or out of status na po kayo, it's okay to say, return the application form and say that you are not a US citizen. Dahil po pag in-ignore ninyo yan, pwede rin po kayong makontempt, di ba? Or hindi lang sa makontempt, baka padala na naman kayo ng panibagong notice. At nangyayari yan palagi na hindi lang isang beses o dalawang beses ka nakakatanggap ng notice to appear before the jury. So yun po ang gagawin po ninyo, ibalik po ninyo yung application form stating that you are not a US citizen and provide your alien number or your green card or just simply state that you are not a US citizen.
Mm-hmm. Attorney, ito na mga government benefit in terms of education, schooling, itong ating mga student loans. I believe in the application for FAFSA, it's being asked kung ikaw ay US citizen. Paano po, attorney, kung nagkamali kayo at na-check nyo yung US citizen?
Yes, Kuya Yon. Kung timely retraction yan, right, hindi pa na-finalize yung loan po ninyo, then it's okay to correct the mistake, right, as early as possible. Hindi po yung tuloy-tuloy po ninyong file. May mga loan or government agencies din naman na tumutulong sa mga walang status, di ba? Yung mga out of status, yung mga nasa DACA, right, or for non-citizens. So doon po kayo mag-apply. Wag po sa mga government agencies that only provide loans to US citizens. Kasi otherwise, as we mentioned, there's a way for immigration, the USCIS, to find out if you falsely claim to be a US citizen. And from the start of our conversation, we said that this is one of the worst act that you do as a non-citizen is claiming to be a US citizen, because bigyan natin ulit ng reminder ang mga kababayan natin that this false claiming to be a US citizen has no waiver. There's no other way, no other relief, unlike simple inadmissibility grounds like misrepresentation in crimes.
Attorney, when applying for work as well, itong may form na nagtatanong sa iyo if you are eligible to work in the United States, and some of our friends are confused kung ano ang checkan nila doon, if they're a green card holder or if they have authority to work, and then meron pang isang macheckan kung ikaw ay US citizen. Paano kung doon ka nagkamali uli, attorney, at US citizen ang yung na-check sa inyong employment verification?
Yes, very serious yan, Kuya Johan. In fact, under immigration and nationality law, it is a federal offense, right, to work under the table or work without work authorization. I mean, I always emphasize that to our clients, right? And sometimes it's really hard for them, I think, to choose between, not working and unable to be productive and working and, saying something different on their application form. And employers, Kuya Johan, are required, to provide before employment to the employee to fill out what we call the I-9. Ito yung employment verification, di ba? So sabihin yung pangalan, sabihin yung date of birth, address, ganyan, at saka yung status. Kung kayo po ay may mga ano po diyan, may mga choices ka. As you mentioned, Kuya Johan, whether you are a green card holder, as a green card holder, you're authorized to work, walang problema doon. Or if you are an individual or a non-citizen authorized to work, kagaya po ng mga nakapending adjustment of status o yung mga asylee na bigyan po ng asylee status, pwede rin silang magtrabaho. Now, we caution our client, both the employers and the employees, to be very careful in filling out the I-9 because that would lead to a false claim to a US citizen. In fact, Kuya Johan, hindi lang isa, kundi marami na tayong pinagdaanan ng mga kliyente where they thought that they are getting their green card through marriage, right? They've been here since 1990s when they were minors, right? And they thought that the application is madali lang naman, di ba? So kakayanin natin, they went to the interview, they were very truthful about stating a false claim to be a US citizen, and they admitted that yes, nag-false claim ako ng US citizen. In that situation, Kuya Johan, right, walang relief yun. Siyempre, i-deny ka. And the USCIS required the applicant to provide nasa yung I-9 mo. Di ba? You've been with Tesla for like 10 years. Right? So this is a big company, and of course, ang presumption natin, Kuya Johan, kung nasa big company ka like Apple or yung mga Silicon Valley or diyan ka sa Mandalay Bay, right? Big companies require you to have a work authorization to fill out this form. So it's not something na you're working in a small businesses, di ba, na they can probably dispense yung I-9 kagaya ng mga construction companies or small restaurants or mga small care homes na hindi malakihan, di ba? But bigger companies, of course, it's always the standard operating procedure to have the employee fill out the form. So in that situation, right, you've been working with the Bank of America for like the last 20 years. So ano yung pinrovide mong form? Anong pinrovide mong proof that you are an individual who you're authorized to work, right? So if they said na, I said I was a citizen, so and of course, pag employer ka naman, Kuya Johan, kailangan mo rin ng evidence, di ba? So usually yan, either birth certificate mo or yung US passport mo. So in that situation, siyempre yung employer would also be penalized for hiring people who are not authorized to work. But of course, kung parang legit yung pinrovide sa'yo na US passport, siyempre ang presumption is legit yung pinrovide sa'yo, then siyempre excuse ang employer. So ang madadali niyan yung employee. So sa mga kababayan natin, I strongly encourage you to speak to an immigration attorney, lalong-lalo kung nangyari sa inyo to in the past. I'm not saying you to lie, right? But I'm probably we can discuss what are the options, to how to get out from these situations where there is no other relief for you.
Okay. Sa mga kaibigan, talagang seryoso pala itong usaping ito. Kaya kumonsulta sa ating mga kaibigan from Reeves Immigration Law Group kung kayo po ay nasa sitwasyong ganito. And attorney, pagka yun namang nabanggit nyo yung passport kanina, minsan nakikita natin sa pila sa post office, maraming nag-a-apply ng passport. And to some who are non-citizens, it seems na wow, parang ganun lang pala kadali mag-apply ng passport. Kung nag-apply ka ng passport doon, you're not a US citizen, it will derive the same consequences. Ano po, attorney?
Correct, Kuya Johan. So yung passport application or using a US passport, maraming nangyayari yan, especially before the 911, Kuya Johan. And I've seen several clients where they came here with a blue passport, US passport. And I said, sigurado ka bang and not only a US passport, Kuya Johan, kundi a fake name under the US passport. Mas mabuti pa siguro Philippine passport na fake name na lang, di ba? Kasi if may waiver diyan eh. Pero if you use a blue passport, a US passport, walang waiver yan. And that's true before 9/11 because madali pa nun makalusot, di ba? Pero ngayon kasi lahat ng mga documents mo ngayon is machine readable. So madedetect nila kaagad kung fake yung dala-dala mo, di ba? Pero at the border also, Kuya Johan, marami sa mga kababayan natin from Southern America that they also present yung mga US birth certificate, di ba? So kasi one of the ways for you to enter is proof that you're a citizen. Marami sa kanila nagpo-provide ng birth certificate. Those situations, Kuya Johan, are claiming to be a US citizen, and those are very rampant and many situations, problem situations na nangyayari sa mga kababayan natin gumagamit ng passport, US passport or US birth certificate. Now, there's also a situations, Kuya Johan, where ang kanilang anak nila, let's say, parehong out of status, Kuya Johan, walang papel, then nanganak sila dito. Siyempre, automatic yung anak nila is US citizen, right? So, walang problema doon. Now, some other people would also other states would ask kung ano ang nationality ng magulang, di ba? So, in that situation, may mga client na, they are also US citizen. In fact, they're not. So, did they benefit? So, ang question dun, Kuya Johan, is nakinabang ba sila, di ba? The first claiming to be a US citizen, especially it benefits you, of course, yun yung walang relief. Pero false claiming to be a US citizen, diba, na walang benefit sa'yo, either you just say, oh, citizen ako, pero wala ka namang benefit. Or yung example na binigay natin kanina na sinulat nila na citizen sila when in fact they were not, right? And hindi naman sila nakakuha ng other benefits, then we were able to defend na hindi to false claim dahil, wala naman silang nakuha sa pag-state dun sa birth certificate ng anak nila that they are a US citizen. Right? Or wala silang nakuhang benefit. So what I told them is amend mo na lang yung birth certificate ng anak mo to show that your birthplace was the Philippines, hindi sa US. So nung pinorek nila yon, pumayag naman ng immigration na wala naman silang nakuhang benefit, di ba? So hindi naman nila ginamit sa Social Security na sinasabing US citizen sila. So just for the purposes of siguro natakot pagkapanganak na wala silang papel, so inilagay nila na US citizen. So that situation, walang benefit, and we were able to argue na hindi yan willful, right? Hindi yan beneficial sa kanila, kundi it's more of like, for convenience lang. So that kind of scenario pwedeng lusutan, but mostly, Kuya Johan, using a US citizen passport or birth certificate would lead you to denial of your application.
Okay. So manmanan mga kaibigan itong mga sitwasyon na ito para hindi kayo mapasok sa ganitong problema. And attorney, kung ang mga kababayan natin or anyone that they know, loved ones or friends are in this situation, paano po nila makokontak ang Reeves Immigration Law Group para po kumonsulta sa inyo? Ngayon po ba ay meron na tayong face-to-face or sa in-person consultation sa office? Ano po?
Yes, Kuya Johan, we still require proof of vaccination like USCIS, and other government agencies or even establishments in the Bay Area. We require you to provide vaccination records or tests that you are negative, COVID negative test result. You can come here to the office just as long as you call our office and set consultation. We also do Zoom, like what we're doing right now, Kuya Johan, and telephone consultation. So saan man po kayo, we offer this kind of services, free, hindi free. It's $100 consultation. But if you come to the office, whether here in Los Angeles or in San Francisco where I am based, free consultation po tayo in person.
May mga nagko-comment dito sa studio natin, yung binanggit kasi natin kanina, attorney, na unintentional, Pagka kasi, di po ba, attorney, pagka meron ng nanumpa as a US citizen, especially mga kababayan natin, they are so proud. Papicture, lalabas sa social media, dala-dala yung certificate, may flag pa ng US, And ang kinukwento dito sa akin, napasama siya doon sa picture na merong dalang flag, pero siya ay kasama lang, hindi siya naging US citizen. Now, his friends thought na nag-claim siya na US citizen na rin siya kahit hindi naman. In that kind of a situation, is this person in trouble?
No, Kuya Johan. He's just joining his friend or family on the celebration, actually, of his friend or family becoming a US citizen. In fact, before the pandemic, Kuya Johan, we are allowed to bring, the whole barangay actually dito sa Bay Area, di ba? Na ma-witness ang panunumpa ng pagiging US citizen. In fact, dito sa isang malaking area dito, yung mass oath taking, right? So you can bring a family member to watch you take the oath. May mga programa din at that point, Kuya Johan, and there are thousands of people taking the oath, and padamihan din ng ng palakpakan o padamihan ng sigaw, di ba? So sasabihin nila Mexico, lahat yan tatayo at sisigaw. Philippines, India, so padamihan ng sigaw. So it's okay for them to join, and witness the celebration and after celebration. So okay lang magpa-picture, wag lang kunin yung Xerox certificate nyo at palitan nyo. Doon tayo marunong, di ba? Yung backlash na sinasabi nung panahon, di ba? Papalitan yung picture o papalitan yung pangalan. Right? Of course, if you're going to use that, madidetect po kayo, madaling madetect. Right? So, in that situation, that's tantamount to false claim. Pero kung nagpa-picture lang kayo to join the festivities and the celebration, that should be okay.
All right. Alam mo, maraming attorney kasing mga excited na rin at maraming mga nanunumpa ngayon. Alam niyo naman na marami nang natatawag. Attorney, ito isisingkit natin, isa din sa inabot sa akin dito. Katatapos lang kahapon ng consular outreach ng Philippine Consulate of LA dito sa Las Vegas, ginanap starting last Saturday, natapos Monday, by the way. And nakita natin yung mga nanunumpa doon as Filipino citizens na naman. Ano po? So isang tanong dito, pagka ikaw ay Filipino citizen na uli, pagka tinanong ka, ano ba ang citizenship mo? And you're a Filipino citizen na uli ngayon because dual citizen, you can claim still that you are a US citizen, of course. Ano po, attorney?
Correct. You can say both. I'm a dual citizen. I'm proud dual citizen. I'm both Filipino and American, right? So, but of course, if you're petitioning a family member, right, mag-asawa po kayo ng walang papel, siyempre ang claim mo is, I'm a US citizen, proud US citizen, right? If you're going home to the Philippines and you want to, open a bank account, right? Para wala nang masyadong matanong, pakita mo lang yung dual citizenship mo or yung Filipino reacquisition ng citizenship or yung Philippine passport mo para hindi na masyadong maraming tanong. Kasi as a foreigner or as a foreigner in the Philippines, may mga other requirements yan, Kuya Johan. So, essentially, depende kung nasaan po kayo at depende po kung sino yung establishment or entity na dinidil po ninyo. So, as I said, pag nasa US kayo, right, petitioning family members, voting, applying for benefits under federal government, then you said you're a citizen. You can say that you're a US citizen, but if you go home, right, stay there for long, buy properties, open bank accounts, put up a business, or apply for Filipino benefits, then you can present your Philippine passport. Now, if you are in Canada or for example in a third country na hindi po kayo citizen, tingnan mo kung ano mas makikinabang sa iyo, di ba? So, syempre kung pupunta ka ng Europe for example, syempre as a US citizen may mga visa-free ka diyan, di ba? Visa exempt rather. Kasi kung Filipino ka, kung sabi mo I'm Filipino, then of course tatanungin sa iyo nasa yung visa mo, mag-apply ka ng visa. So, those are the situation where you can play whether you want to be a US citizen or whether you want to be a Filipino citizen or say that you're both. So, either way, Kuya Johan.
All right. Okay, I'm sure mga kaibigan, marami po kayong mga tanong. I-comment lamang sa baba at sasagutin po ni Attorney Diza sa ating immigration law on your side. Attorney, at this point, medyo malapit na ang Pasko and I'm sure marami sa mga kababayan natin ang gustong mag-follow up ng kanilang mga cases kung sila ay babiyahe or may padating na mga relatives. Attorney, ano na po ba ang mga updates natin ngayon regarding sa immigration po?
Yes, Kuya, before we proceed with the updates, very briefly lang kung paano natin dedepensahan ang claim to be a US citizen. So hindi mo na mababawi yan pag sinabi mo na citizen ka doon sa application mo. Let's say pumunta ka sa interview and said, I claim US citizen doon sa aking I-9. So paano mo ngayon dedepensahan? Is it the end of the world for you? Right? You just stay forever as out of status kahit may asawa kang US citizen at kahit may mga 10 kang anak na US citizen. I've been working here for a long time. So anong remedy mo? Now, unang-una, as we mentioned kanina, yung timely retraction, right? Pwede mo sabihin na, hindi ko ginawa yan or ginawa ko to na hindi ko alam ang consequence. Pwede bang bawiin ko yung application na yan? So yan ang number one. Number two, Kuya Johan, if you were a minor when you claim to be a US citizen, ang pagulang mo is US citizen, right? Pwede exempted din yan, pero bibihira yan. Di ba? So, pangatlo would be if the false claim was before 1996, pero matagal-tagal na rin yan. Kasi at that point, Kuya Johan, yung punishing someone else ng false claim, that's pre-IRA-IRA. Ito yung immigration reform, di ba, na pinasa act where it took effect after 1996. So before 1996, may waiver yan. Parang misrepresentation lang yan. But after 1996, any false claim to a citizen, wala nang relief yan. So yun yung pangatlo. And then pang-apat, Kuya Johan, is pag nasa removal proceeding na kayo, kasi let's say, dininay na adjustment mo kahit ilan ang anak mo, may bahay ka, may asawa kang citizen, may magulang kang green card holder, hindi nakakatulong sa iyo yan because as we mentioned, walang waiver yan. But if they place you in removal proceedings, nasa husgado ka na, right, merong tinatawag na cancellation of removal. You're requesting for cancellation if you've been here 10 years in the US, you can prove that your spouse, your parent, or your children below 21 would suffer extreme, exceptional, unusual hardship. And of course, yung misrepresentation mo must more than 10 years na. So let's say sinabi mo sa Toyota or Bank of America that you're a citizen noong let's say 1990s or 2000 and then nag-retire ka na, batak more than 10 years na yon. So pwede na yon. So yun yung possible relief lang po ninyo. It's very limited, but there are defenses and there are possible ways to get out from the mess that you created if you falsely claim to be a US citizen. So yun po, very briefly, ang depensa po ninyo or paraan para po maayos ang papel if these things happen to you. Now, Kuya Johan, sa mga travel restrictions natin, siyempre kailangan pa rin ang COVID vaccination for people entering the US, right? Or at your interview, right, sa consulate or sa embassy or in the United States, if you're applying for green card, requirement na yan. Mabagal pa rin basically ang embassy na pagpatawag ng interview. This is a very common problem ng mga kliyente natin. Nagtatanong mga kliyente at mga nagkokonsulta, Kuya Johan, how to expedite their case. Now, if you remember, Marso, bumagal na yung process. Marami ng suspension ng in-person interviews, lalong-lalo sa sa US Embassy in the Philippines. Right? So mabagal pa rin sila. So huwag kayong magtaka kung hindi pa kayo natatawag ng interview. Tignan lang po ninyo yung mga emails at mga updates. Very recent naman ang updates ng embassy. They were saying that they're slowly, adding more staff and adding more interviews a day. Pero hindi pa rin na-resolve yung backlog, Kuya Johan. So hopefully, we will be back to normal soon. So just watch out for our updates sa ating mga social media, sa Reeves Immigration Law Group na Facebook page namin at saka sa aking Facebook page na FJ Diza, Immigration Law Attorney. So, tignan po ninyo mga updates natin at syempre dito po sa PHLV Radio.
Nako, maraming salamat po, Attorney, for giving us updates regarding that, especially ngayon na maraming mga kababayan natin ang gustong either bumiyahe o may dumating na mga relatives from the Philippines dahil sa sobrang tagal na sila hindi nagkikita-kita dahil sa pandemyang ito. Anyway, Attorney, maraming salamat po muli for your time and your updates and yung ating pinag-usapan po ngayon. I'm sure marami po ang naliwanagan doon po sa ating topic regarding sa consequences if you falsely claim to be a US citizen kahit hindi naman po. So Attorney, at this point, I'll give you the floor. Baka meron po kayong mga ibang announcements from your area.
Maraming salamat Kuya Johan ulit at syempre I'll take this opportunity as well to greet you PHLV Radio at sa lahat ng mga mga tawag staff mo or lahat ng mga may programa ng PHLV Radio, lahat ng mga listeners and viewers natin. Thanksgiving na po, 2021. There's a lot of many things to thankful for this 2021. Kahit paano, nagpasan na natin, hopefully nagpasan na natin ang pandemic and we are slowly going back to normal, right? May mga booster shot na, so lahat na nagkakaroon na at hopefully we are mawawala na itong pandemic sa atin, hindi lang sa US, hindi lang sa Pilipinas, pero sa buong mundo. And again, Kuya Johan, and to all our viewers and listeners, from my family and from my law firm at Reeves Immigration Law Group, happy Thanksgiving po sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat po, Attorney Diza, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family and the Reeves Immigration Law Group family dyan po sa San Francisco, California. Meron din po sa may Los Angeles area, sa China, and sa Philippines. Happy Thanksgiving po sa inyong lahat. Galing po dito sa Las Vegas, ito po si Kuya Yo sa PHLV Radio Studio. We will see you next time po para sa isa na namang episode ng ating Immigration Law on Your Side. And again, from all of us here at PHLV Radio, happy Thanksgiving. Maraming salamat po. We'll see you next time.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has been representing immigrants for nearly 40 years. Reeves Immigration Law Group has been fighting for its clients through experience and expertise. With immigration lawyers you can access at reasonable fees, even on Saturday. Payment plans are also available. Call us for your immigration solutions. We can do worldwide telephone and Skype consultations. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009. Reeves Immigration Law Group has offices offices in Los Angeles, San Francisco, China, and Philippines. See us at www.rreeves.com. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has just brought you Immigration Law on Your Side. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Pacific on PHLV Radio.